Good morning, everyone. It's iCurly here. It is Friday, March 14th. It's Lotto Friday, everyone. So you know the trades are cheap today. I am actually going to do two free trade ideas again today. We're going to focus on the healthcare sector. Healthcare sector has kind of been looking a little bearish here lately. But again, we're not going to take any directional bias, like I say in all of my previous videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. As you can see here, I am looking at Johnson and Johnson. I'm looking at them because it looks as if Johnson and Johnson is kind of operating within a supply area. And I want to see if we are going to continue the trend down. So I am more, swayed towards the downside with this, but again, we will not have any directional bias. We are going to take market structure. And if you do not understand about market structure, I do have a video on my channel that talks about market structure. Okay. So we do have our put entry off of the daily time frame, and let's go ahead and get a gauge for our magnitude. So one moment. So it looks like we're looking at about 160.12 if we decide to break to the downside. And let's go ahead and map out our ATR targets, or our price targets rather, since we're here, because we do have to switch over to a lower level time frame because we only get one entry off of a scenario 2 candle, which we have a 2 up on this particular time frame. So to the downside, we would be looking at in the money to one. You can actually do it in the money to 160, or you can play it safer since it is 0 days and kind of get closer to the money. But in the money to 160 would work. And then I'm going to double check to make sure that it does have, incremental like dollar moves, or if it's just like a 162.50 and then 160. So I'll let you know about that once we're done. And then let's look at this to the upside. And this would be the call entry off of the 4-hour time frame. And let's see. We are looking at to the upside 165.88. Let's clone that. And let's give both of these the ATR target. All right, great. And so now that we have all of that mapped out, let's go ahead and put our price targets on it to the upside. And then whenever there's a presence of a gap, you have to close the gap and proceed to targeting either the upside if it's moving up. So you're targeting the tops of the candles, and then if it's moving down, the bottoms of the candles. But whenever there's the presence of a gap, per the strat, you have to close the gap, okay? All right, and so let me double check here to make sure that we do have the strike price that I mentioned. And so for Johnson and Johnson to the downside. All right, so it's either going to be the 162.50 or the 160. They're very, very inexpensive, everyone. I would more so do the 162.50, but the 160s would definitely work, but I would stick to the 162.50 to the downside. And then for the upside, I would be looking at anything in the money to 165. So in the money to 165 to the upside, and to the downside in the money to 162.50. And obviously you see the ATR, if it did nothing but drop, it could get to 160.12. And then if it did nothing but run to the upside, it could get to 165.88. All right, so let's go ahead and put our alerts on this since we're here. And the alerts is just something to get your attention to say, hey, I'm triggering a particular level that you were interested in on your chart. Go and look at it to see if it's building the way that it needs to in order for you to take the trade. So the alert does not mean jump in the trade by any means. It means go and check it out. Okay. So just want to make that clear. And as I stated before, just go watch the video on market structure that I have on my channel, and it'll help you to understand quite a bit. All right, so we have that mapped out. And now we are going to do another trade idea. So I am looking at, let's see, what was the ticker that I wanted to share? All right, I have it written down. So I am going to also give you Moderna. All right, and so let's talk about why we like Moderna. So weekly time frame, we have a failed two up, and then we have this aggressive selling candle um, on the daily time frame for Moderna. So let's go ahead and map this out. So put entry, and let's see what we have. So 31.55, and that will be our ATR target to the downside. Let's do our price targets. All right, so that's what we have to the downside for price targets. And then now let's get a look for the upside. The great thing about the strat is that it literally keeps you prepared in either direction because you know a catalyst will trump any type of technical. So let's just say we had good news to happen while the market was open and you were thinking the downside. And if you weren't mapped out to the upside, you have to throw the whole trade idea away. And so it just kind of says, hey, you know, I am aware that you might have some type of bias to one direction, but if there's some news that comes out, good or bad, I want to make sure that you're prepared. So I really, really love trading the strat. And I do have videos on the strat, like I said, on my channel. All right, so to the upside, we're looking at 37.05. All right, and so as you can see here, I'm just going to hide this. You can see here that the ATR target stops us before the high of this candle, so we do not have to mark that out because it will get exhausted prior to that point. So to the upside, what are we looking at? We're looking at anything in the money, and let me actually go check out the contracts for this one really quickly here. All right, so for Moderna, we're looking at anything in the money, and let's just play it safe and say 36. It's super cheap. So in the money to 36, although it can get all the way up there to 37, it's a 0 day. So you want to be in the money as soon as possible. You don't want to, you know, go the full extent of the ATR on a Friday because theta is going to kick up. Okay. And let's go ahead and put the alert on it. So in the money to 36 for calls and expiring today. And then to the downside, in the money to 32. All right. So we do have our two trades mapped out. So we have um, some pretty inexpensive trade ideas for today, which is amazing because you get to load the boat and something that I teach in my trading community. And it's also linked to my page as well if you're interested in joining. But something that I teach to my trading community is that when you have the opportunity to load the boat, buy a bunch of contracts, it gives you an advantage so that you can actually scale out. So you can take profit along the way and reduce your position size. So I hope that helped. If it did, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Engage with me on YouTube. Share this with a friend or a family member. I hope to see you in baggage claim and also follow me on social media so that you can see the performances of these particular trades. Each trade that I posted yesterday went over 100%. All right, you guys. I hope to see you in baggage claim. Have a blessed day. Bye.